Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of top military leaders to gather at a Marine Corps base in Virginia next week. It's not clear why the meeting has been called. More than a dozen people familiar with the matter telling the Washington Post the directive was sent to nearly every top U.S. military commander around the world. That includes officials in conflict zones stationed throughout Europe, the Middle East, and the Asia-Pacific region. According to the Post, every source it spoke with said it could not recall a defense secretary ever ordering such a large gathering of military leaders on such short notice. Joining us now, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling and President Emeritus of the Council on Foreign Relations, Richard Haass. Good morning to you both. General, I'll start with you. First of all, how unusual is this in your experience, and what do you suspect is going on here?
Yeah, Willie, if this is usual and this is unusual, we're way out in terms of unusual in this one. It is never, that I know of, ever occurred in the history of the military where everyone is brought in. Now, certainly during wartime, generals commanding in a theater are brought in individually with their team, or the president or the Secretary of Defense visits them at their theater of operation. But I've never seen anything like this before, and it just seems extremely bizarre and strange.
Well, General, let me just ask you strategically, how stupidly dangerous is this?
It's pretty dangerous, Joe. What I'd say is, a lot of people are looking at it from the general's perspective, them thinking, what the heck are we going to hear? Because I don't think from what I've talked to some of my colleagues that are still active, they don't know what this is about. So it could be about a shifting national security strategy. It could be cuts to the General Officer Corps. Secretary Hegseth has mentioned that several times. It could be about the upcoming budget stalemate, or it could be concerns over information leaks or press leaks.
But General, don't they have communication systems where they can do that so we can actually keep our generals and our admirals in the field where they are needed?
Certainly, Joe, and they're called secure video teleconferences. It is the same thing as a secure computer, not Snapchat, not Signals app. This is no kidding secure stuff. It's just like a SIPR computer. But the problem is, when you move that many general officers to Washington, it's not just the generals that are concerned. I would suggest that both our allies and our foes are thinking to themselves, what the hell is going on in Washington? When a general comes into the Pentagon to talk to his boss, the Secretary of Defense, no one really knows it. There may be indicators. But when you're talking about publicizing over 800 senior leaders, commanders, as well as their senior enlisted advisors, their sergeant majors or their Navy chief petty officers, this is something that's going to garner attention, where people are going to say, what's going on with the U.S. military? What are they planning? Why is this so important that you're pulling 800, as suggested by the Washington Post, or more into the Washington, D.C. area? It's undescribable.
Yeah, and it's not just foreign militaries that are confused. Our own military is confused. Talking to some of these generals who have no idea why this is happening and are not sure why there's such secrecy. But we should note this. The military has different levels of classification. This one, we are told, is being deemed a secret level, which is not the highest level, because there had been some speculation considering our force posture outside Venezuela and the attacks on boats there. Could this be some sort of operational planning meeting? That seems unlikely, because it would be classified at a higher level, Richard Haass. So there's some speculation in Washington, people I talked to yesterday who were downright puzzled at this, that this could be just sort of almost like a pep talk. We know that Defense Secretary Hegseth is one of the things President Trump likes about him most is he's very good on Fox News and the like. The language about war fighters, a lot of it's PR campaign. And there's a suggestion here, taken in tandem with the edict from the Pentagon last week about reporters there only reporting on things that Pentagon tells them to, that this might be just a messaging meeting, but a very, very strange one.
And I think that's the most likely answer. If it were operational, you wouldn't have people globally. It would be more localized. My own sense, it's almost a cultural thing. Hegseth wants to change the culture of the military against DEI in favor of quote-unquote war fighting and so forth. He also wants to assert his authority because there's been a lot of pushback. So my sense is it's more like that. But it doesn't change any of the ideas that this is expensive potentially risky because people aren't at their jobs. It's just a stunt, and it looks truly excessive. There's easy ways to do this. We have fought wars in recent years, by the way, without people leaving their bases. That's why we have these secure video systems. When I was at the White House, we went through the entire Gulf War. Most of it was run that way. You don't need to do something like this. So this sounds to me something much more personal.
Yeah, even some Republicans rolling their eyes at this yesterday, saying that Hegseth, again, he and his senior leadership team very depleted, perhaps out of their depth. Richard